Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Lucky Ducky Victory Monday. Yeah, I'm going to lead with it. Damn right. When a duck comes on the field and the Bucs block a punt, yeah, we're definitely going to lead with that. No question about it. And the luck continued into the night. I don't know if the duck flew to Washington for that Commanders game. I'm pretty sure when Riley Patterson's 56-yard field goal was in the air, I saw a duck knock it down. But I could be wrong. Welcome into a Victory Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We thank you guys so much for joining us. We got lots to get to, man. So many storylines of not only yesterday's game at Raymond James Stadium, but what happened last night with the Commanders and Falcons. Nick Geddes is in studio here with me this morning in the Jeeves Law Group studio in beautiful South Tampa. What's up, my friend? How are you? Merry Christmas. Hope you had a good Christmas.
I did.
The Bucs delivered one for you.
I told you about 10 minutes ago in the studio. I said it's been a very great holiday. We've been so focused on the Bucs. We've been so focused on the Lightning playing almost every other day, and then it's like, yeah, it's been a very raise less holiday, and like I've enjoyed that.
Yes,
I'm sure you have too. Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Bucs made it a very happy holiday for everybody yesterday, but then the Commanders, they had to finish the job though, and boy did they ever.
Oh my God, what a game. The drama last night. I'm thinking, man, Bucs fans, the ratings for that last night must have been off the charts in Tampa Bay for so many reasons. And the juxtaposition of here's Michael Penix, Tampa Bay Tech, right? I don't know this for sure, but I think he grew up as a Bucs fan. And Ray McLeod, from Tampa as well, making play after play to sink the Buccaneers' playoff hopes. And no, the field goal falls short. Raheem Morris, maybe he was still working for the Glazers last night. I don't know.
Does anybody have any clock management awareness in the NFC South?
Holy hell.
Anybody. How
do you screw that up?
It looked a little intentional to me. I don't know.
The Falcons, Falconed last night. They gave that game away. But hey, the Bucs did what they had to do yesterday in a 48-14 demolition of the Carolina Panthers. And I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I thought this was going to be a very tough game for the Buccaneers. I thought they would win it, but I was very worried about the game. When Chuba Hubbard was ruled out, though, I was like, okay, that's a pretty big weapon you're taking away there from the Panthers. And I think that definitely played a role. But this team was angry. And Mike Evans said after the game, they were angry that they lost to the Cowboys and they let the playoffs basically slip away from them. And I think they came out pissed off. And my question is this: why does this team not play like this every week? I know it's hard in the NFL to be out there and be as consistent, but the Vikings did it this year. The Lions did it with a multitude of injuries. Mm-hmm. As you said earlier in our pre-show, this is a team that should have won 13 games this year. You look at the talent on this team, you look at this offense. The defense has just been dreadful at times. They've given away games. I don't want to come on here and be a bitch and moan, but it's a testament to the talent of this football team. They're better than their record is. And if they somehow don't make it to the playoffs, and listen, you lose to the Saints at home at the end of the year, that is going to be, Todd Bowles won't make it out of the room. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
That's not happening. Even if they go to the playoffs, there's just no excuse for this team to be inconsistent. It's so inconsistent that they lose next week to the Saints. Like that. That's not even possible. They're 13-point favorites already. That's not possible, right? I know the Saints have won 4 of the last 5 at Raymond James Stadium, but this game with the playoffs on the line, last year it was the same thing. They lost. Okay, but this game, this team with Liam Cohen, there's no way they can lose to the Saints. So we'll talk about that later on in the week. But I think that's one of my biggest takeaways of watching this team is like, this is the team that dismantled the Chargers. Have you seen what the Chargers have done since the Bucs whooped their ass?
Yeah.
They look like one of the best teams in the AFC. You do this to the Panthers. And again, the Panthers beat Arizona. The Cardinals. They've beaten some good teams. They took the Chiefs to the wire. I'm not saying they're a great football team, but they were certainly after that touchdown before the half. I'm like, here we go.
Right.
But maybe Todd Bowles was pissed at halftime, and that literally said to TJ Reeves as he walked off the field, our DB's got to get their head out of their asses. And maybe he went a little crazy at halftime and dressed the boys down, because they came out that third quarter. They come out and they get 2 sacks right off the rip. Diaby gets a sack, which they weren't going to give to him, was crazy. Diaby gets a sack, and then Nelson gets a sack, and then we get the Bucs come right down the field, a 94-yard drive, and stick it in the end zone, and then the duck shows up, and they get a block punt for a touchdown. I can't remember the last time they did that. I should have checked the notes here, but not only that. Did you see who blocked the punt?
I actually missed who blocked the punt because the
television missed it.
Television missed it. They were so fixated on the duck.
Yeah. Well,
who blocked it? I never even figured it out. JTS blocked the punt.
JTS made what, the duck? JTS made a play?
He made a couple plays yesterday.
He did. Yeah. So a lot of things are happening that don't normally happen.
Oh, Paul Stewart's in the chat. He said Adam Hayward 2012 versus the
there we go. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. Was that
eighth blocked punt touchdown in franchise history.
So it's been 12 years. A duck shows up, and you don't think that has something to do with it?
Oh, it definitely did.
Where is the duck? I saw the guy that got the duck and was caressing the duck.
Yeah, that thing needs to have a permanent home in Raymond James Stadium.
Yes,
from now on.
Yeah, get him a pond. Like, can we build him like a little duck pond on the ship? Let's get we'll get one of those.
Yeah,
little pools,
we can carve out a little space for him.
Those little plastic pools, and we'll put it right there maybe we'll just have a separate deck for him.
You know what?
A duck deck.
This was made for a Joe Madden coach team right here.
Oh my God! Yes.
Joe Madden would have a ball with this duck. And by the way, sorry to all the Washington Huskies who are on this football team, and there are many of them.
Yes,
but Bucky Irving,
Bucky Ducky,
right now looks like the best player on the Buccaneers. Obviously, he went to Oregon. He said yesterday that this was the omen that not for the Bucs, but for that Oregon's going to win a national championship.
Oh, in Oregon too.
Yeah,
there we go.
He's convinced. So, apologies to the Washington Huskies who might not be too fond of the duck. I think we all are.
Well, then get your damn Husky out on the field. Let's go. We'll get him. Bring a Husky. We'll have a duck. What else can we get?
Go. Michael Sorgel, the duck deck.
The duck deck. That's what I said. Yeah, the duck. We'll have the duck deck right on top of it. It'll be a separate deck, a little duck pool, and he'll just swim around. Like the Rays swim around. And when he wants to fly on the field, fly on the field. Yeah. Good things happen. Yeah. Can you imagine if they blew the whistle right as he's blocking that punt because the duck's on the field? There's so many good videos. By the way, if you thought we were going to shy away from the duck talk tonight, no.
Absolutely not.
We're going all in. We're going all in.
Allow me to even say this. Yesterday I was working for On 3 and everything, and literally the duck saved my ass yesterday.
How so?
Because I was writing something. I was writing a separate article at the time. Okay. It was something Aaron Rodgers related, who had a bad day yesterday.
Yeah.
And I might have been taking a little too long getting the article up, and I had my editor message me something about it, and I was like, sorry, something just crazy happened in the Bucs game, and it sidetracked me, and I explained it, and he goes, really, that happened? Pivot to that. And I was like, cool. Got me out of.
So you had a duck story.
Yeah, so I ended up getting to write the duck story.
There you go.
And it kind of got a little bit off my back there. So the duck saved a lot of things yesterday.
If you did the double dip as I did yesterday, and because I had to work the Lightning game, and so I'm looking at the Jumbotron and in Lightning Vision, and they got the duck sitting behind the net.
Really?
We superimposed the duck sitting. We're trying to give the Lightning a little duck luck. It didn't work.
No, it did not.
It's a different duck. It's a different.
It did not.
You got to have the live duck. See if we had the live duck behind the goal.
Did we learn this in Major League? It's live.
It's a live chicken.
It's got to be a live chicken.
It's got to be a live chicken. Yeah, it's got to be. You can't superimposing the duck. It was a nice try. It was a great effort on our part in Lightning Vision, but it didn't quite have the same magic.
We should have carried the duck to Emily. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Now the guy who got the duck, I saw the Did you see the Instagram?
Yeah, I did.
I couldn't actually hear what he was saying, but the way he was caressing the duck made me a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna.
He had some experience.
I'm not gonna say it didn't, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. I got to find that. Maybe we'll play that for it. But anyway, or maybe we're going a little duck crazy here. But it was fantastic. And the win itself. There are two things popped out at me. Number one, Baker Mayfield is he's a witch. He is a witch. And he is so good on so many levels. Yeah, I know sometimes he gets a little loose with the ball. He's like, he's a swashbuckler. That's what he is. He's a gunslinger, a swashbuckler. And that like I always said, like I said on Good Morning Football, he fits the entire motif of this entire culture of Tampa Bay. He's like a pirate playing quarterback. He will risk his body. He'll throw it around. He'll throw it into spots maybe he shouldn't at times, but a lot of times it works out. He was so good yesterday. Accurate. He had one point he had 11 completions in a row. Started the game 6 for 6. They get off to another fast start right down the field. Big plays to Evans. Bucky's making plays on the ground. The sequence where they bring Rashad White in and they kind of fake a little cross jet sweep to him, which they had run earlier with some success, and then they come back with Bucky going the other way, and a guy comes clean underneath and has Bucky dead to rights in the backfield, and it just doesn't matter. The first guy ain't going to tackle him, and he breaks that tackle, tucks in behind the two pullers, and he goes for 34 yards. And then they throw a screen the other way, fake a screen right, go back left, and he's so good at setting up his blocks and then hitting the accelerator. And so it was what Warwick Dunn was so freaking good at. Remember, he would get lost in the wash a little bit, and then he'd just see that daylight, and boom, he was through it. He was through it, and it was so hard to find him and so hard to tackle him. And he ends up with 190 yards from scrimmage yesterday, goes over 1,000 yards. Listen, Jane Daniels locked up the offensive rookie of the year last night with that performance, I thought, especially in overtime. Thankfully, because that'll make me a nice chunk of change.
Didn't we say Jaden Daniels is going to be pretty good?
Yeah. I literally bet him being the offensive rookie of the year before the season at plus 650. I think I got it at. Ooh. So that'll be a nice chunk of change when he wins that. No, it's not going to be Bo Nix. I think he salted it away last night with that performance.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. I mean, when you put the team on your back in overtime, regular season,
when you win 11, maybe 12 games, for the Washington Commanders,
and you're the reason they're winning the games. Exactly. And the way they run him, God, as small as he is, the way they just quarterback run him like he's freaking Josh Allen. Like, I don't know if that's really smart, but the dude just seems to get up every single time. He's tough as nails, and damn, is he talented. Yep. Holy hell, is he talented. I'm glad we got him game 1. Yeah. And I don't want to see him in the playoffs.
No, I don't. But Baker Mayfield also very talented.
Very talented.
Because you were just mentioning, the play of Baker. I mean,
wait, before we got to put this up.
Where's it at?
Rick. Baker is a swashbuckler. A swashbuckler.
I see so many great merch.
That is so good. Can you imagine that T-shirt?
I mean, I literally can see it. I'm looking at it right now in my head.
Swashbuckler.
The swashbuckler.
I don't know what that looks like, but it's Baker and a duck. There's a sword and a football. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Somebody already, I saw it. I might pull it up if I could find it throughout the show today. Somebody changed the old Bucko Bruce logo to a duck or something like that.
Ducko Bruce?
It's Ducko Bruce, I think.
Oh my God.
I mean, we're just going nuts.
Oh, merchandising. We got to get the merch on the all right, we'll get top people working on that right away.
To the numbers of Baker Mayfield, first of all, keep in mind, whenever we're talking about some of the faults with Baker Mayfield, we're talking about the 19th highest paid quarterback in football, right? Okay.
19th?
19th highest. 19th highest paid quarterback. And this is the production you're getting. What if I told you, and you were talking about sometimes he puts the ball in harm's way. He's got 15 interceptions this year, gunslinger, but he's still insanely accurate. You want to know why I know that, JP?
Why?
Because sitting here today, what if I told you that Baker Mayfield is number 1 in the NFL in completion percentage?
How about that?
With a 71.7%. What if I told you that only one quarterback in the NFL has thrown more touchdown passes than Baker Mayfield? His name's Joe Burrow. He's really, really good. If you've watched the game on Saturday night, I think you'll see that. What if I told you only one quarterback has more passing yards than Baker Mayfield this year? Also, his name's Joe Burrow. And
who by the way, has played from behind a lot this year.
Played from a lot behind this year. And also to the completion percentage, Baker Mayfield, only 4 quarterbacks have thrown more passes than him this year. And he still has the highest completion percentage in all of football. Like, the guy's been off the charts good this year.
Better than Brady was when he was here. And that's true. It's true.
And that 2021 Brady, though, was different.
Yeah, but that
was different.
Through 14 games, Baker had a better rating, and it didn't go down.
Statistically, Baker has beat him in numbers right now.
And the offense in general is way better because of the run game. Yeah.
The offense is better, and it doesn't have 4 Hall of Famers on it.
Right.
Like the Brady offense did.
Thank you.
In fact, you look yesterday, I think that's the most impressive part. Like, Mike got his 8 for 97. He's probably gonna get to his 1,000 yards. Tight. But Jalen McMillan, 6 touchdowns in his last 4 games. Jalen McMillan all of a sudden is playing. He's looking more and more like the Chris Godwin role. He's starting to fill that now for this team, which is big. Devin Culp, hello. Devin Culp comes out of nowhere with 3 catches for 52 yards today.
How about that?
Payne Durham's making catches. Ryan Miller's making plays. Like, it's everywhere right now, and that's the genius of Baker Mayfield and, of course, Liam Cohen, who once again star of the show yesterday for Tampa Bay.
The Bucs are third in yards per game, just under 400 at 399.8. Let's round that up. Let's round that up to 400. They're averaging 400 total yards per game, 252 passing, 147 rushing.
Yeah.
And they're averaging 29.7 points per game, which is, I believe, third in the league.
They also
fourth in the league.
They have 3 games this year where they've eclipsed 500 net yards of offense, 3 of them, most in the NFL. Only one team has ever done it 4 times in a season, the 2020 Cowboys. And the Bucs might have a shot next week to get there.
Saints are awful.
The Saints are awful. The Bucs put up 500 yards, I think, against the Saints earlier this year.
Yes, they did.
I mean, this is a history. I mean, the numbers are crazy. I could keep going with the numbers here.
Keep going with the numbers there.
These are from Evan
Nicky numbers.
These are from Evan Klosky, who pulled out some good stuff. 6th team in the Super Bowl era to record 500 or more total yards of offense and allow fewer than 250 yards of offense in multiple games, joining the 2010 Oakland Raiders, the 1978 Cowboys, the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 2009 Baltimore Ravens, and the 1967 Baltimore Colts. Like, we are watching a historic offense go to work. This is the best offense in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Got 9 wins.
And they have 9 wins.
9 wins.
And they're like praying, praying for the Falcons to screw up. And that's what makes it like, this has been such a great offense to watch, but at the same time, they should have 12, 13 wins. They should be with the Minnesota and the Detroits and the Green Bays and the Philadelphias of the conference.
If Riley Patterson didn't have a wiener leg, if that was Koo, I know he's had a bad season, but Young Way be sending us home way. Can you imagine this Bucs team winning 10 games and not going to the playoffs?
Man, I would have been sick to. I mean, I think we all would have been sick to our stomach.
I mean, I promised we wouldn't have that discussion today because it's not time for that.
No.
But if this team would have won 10 games with this offense, I'm sorry, the defense, there's too much talent on this defense for this defense to be as bad as they are at times.
Correct.
At times. And at times yesterday, you were at halftime, you're like, how do you get – and I'm with Todd Bowles on this. Defensive backs, get your head out of your ass. Like, how do you let Adam more than a Thielen? The dude's 105, and he's white, and he's slow. He's running by you. Like, what are we – sorry, I didn't mean to get racist there. What are we doing? He's running by you down the middle of the field, down the side of the field. What are we doing? Adam freaking Thielen. And what is Whitehead doing? Like why are you and how many times do I have to watch safeties run after guys and not look for the goddamn football? There was Bryce Young threw one up for grabs because he was under pressure, and the safety, it was I think it was 21. Is
that Mike Edwards?
Mike Edwards is running, looking at the receiver like you're not playing in man-to-man. You're a safety. Why do we never have eyes on the ball? Never. Like a ball could come out like a punt and nobody would catch it in the defensive backfield. They're always running after receivers that they're 20 yards away from. And it's like, what technique is that as a safety that you're running after with your eyes on the man? Your eyes should be on the quarterback and the football. He threw you a duck. Look up and catch the effing ball. Jesus. We have 7 interceptions.
It's every week. I mean, even the Dallas game, J.J. Russell gets hit right between 5 and 1 and can't catch a pass. I mean,
but it's just more. It's like what technique are we playing that you're not allowed to look back at the quarterback and catch it? We play zone defense a lot, and we're not good at it. And even late in the I forget right before the half when they just let him go down and get a free field goal attempt
that was predictable
that he
too.
missed.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the corner's playing 25 yards off. You let the guy just run a 20-yard dig, and you just watching him. I mean, the time that the ball, if your eyes are on the quarterback, the ball is in the air. You have to make a play on the ball. It's almost like, nope, let him catch it and then tackle him there. Like, do not attack the ball whatsoever. Is that? I don't know. It's the most. I hate to be bitching about anything, but it just makes me crazy.
I think it's a real conversation to have.
When you play great quarterbacks with really good receivers, they're going to toast you.
It's a real conversation to have, JP, because we are watching. We've gone through all the numbers. We can see it with our eyes. We are watching a team, an offense that is more than capable of winning a Super Bowl, more than capable of doing it with right now probably the best play caller in football. I mean, I know there's a lot of great ones out there, but with what he's working with right now, I think he's the best play caller in football at this very, very moment. But unfortunately, as it relates to playoff success, and for a team that won a wild card game last year, and it's about progress, right? Even the Glazers said that at the owner meetings this year. It's about progress. I'm struggling to see how they're going to progress further in the playoffs because look at the teams you're going up against. Yeah. Detroit has nobody on defense, yes, but they're still playing hard. They're coached very well. We know that. Minnesota is fantastic on defense. Green Bay's good on defense. Philadelphia is great on defense. I mean, all the teams.
And they can score.
And they can all score, by the way. They have offenses that all rival you, but they're so much better than you defensively. So that's why I'm sitting here today going, yeah, this is a Super Bowl caliber offense. I don't know if it's going to matter much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's worth having these conversations.
Bucs Rays Bolts is on. He's mad at me. Said, "Why are we complaining? We won, celebrating as fans." Listen, we're celebrating, but we also have to have a little eye towards the future, and some of the things that can pop up and rear their ugly heads. Just go back to the Cowboys game. As far back as that, I'm old enough to remember that, and we're just watching Cooper Rush dissect the football. The defense, the middle of being wide open. Yeah. And at times Bryce Young exploited that as well. But, the defense stepped up in the second half. I thought the early start, when they get those 2 sacks, finally they get an edge rush. They got an edge rush yesterday by putting Kancey out on the edge and running
they also
running a stun up the middle.
They also blitzed the crap out of the Panthers. In fact, he was pressured. Bryce Young pressured on 68.6% of his dropbacks, the highest pressure rate faced by a quarterback in a game this season. 8 Buccaneers finished with multiple pressures on the day. I mean, that made all the difference. And the Panthers also never had the football. Listen to this stat.
Yeah.
I thought this was crazy. The Panthers have been playing football for 30 years, folks. They had a time of possession yesterday of 18:49. That's the lowest single game that they've ever had in their history.
Dominant.
No,
because their defense couldn't get off the field.
And the Bucs, give the Bucs credit. I think they forced like 4 or 5 3-and-outs too.
Yeah.
It was honestly a walk in the park in the second half for this team.
Yeah, and give the defense some credit for that. But and I think that's something that Bowles did that he didn't do in the first game, and that's blitz the hell out of Bryce Young. It just blitz. Your defensive backs can't cover anyway, so you might as well just blitz. Get the pressure and do so, and that goes for the good teams as well. Mm-hmm. Just keep on bringing people, because anytime that quarterback has any amount of time, if he has 3 seconds or more, it's going to be a wide open completion.
Oh, you said it yesterday. Like Dave Canales was doing this thing when the game was somewhat still in the balance. It's kind of how he was last year calling plays for the Bucs. He was sticking to the run game.
Yeah,
he was determined to get that run game going. Dallas did it too. The reason why that game was so close is because Dallas stopped throwing the football for whatever reason in the second half. If you're a team facing the Bucs, you don't have to run it one time.
Why should you?
You don't.
Yeah.
You could throw it 60 times a game. You could pick up first downs with ease, all you want, especially with the teams the Bucs are going to face in the playoffs if they get there.
Into the great wide open.
Like, why is anybody running against this team?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I throw it every time. Yeah. But listen, and if they're going to do that, then let your rushers tee off.
Yeah.
Let your rushers tee off and go get them. Hell, even Chris Braswell had a sack.
Yeah.
Logan
Hall got a sack, I think, too.
Yeah. Yeah. The right tackle on that play kind of peeked inside and then looked outside, and Chris made a nice thump and then got to the quarterback. So good on him. But we need more of that. We need more from Braswell. Yaya got a sack. So as who was it in here that just said this? Rick. Shaq Barrett. Is that the one? Or is it? No, here it is. Shaq Barrett already making the pass rush better. Do you think that guys were like, oh, I'm losing my job now, I better go out and make a play because he's coming back next week? Listen, folks, I love the fact that Shaq is back. I wouldn't expect a whole lot. I wouldn't expect a whole lot.
No, that's what I was going to say. Like, I have no idea what Shaq Barrett's going to give you at this stage. It's been a year since he's played football. He's 32. I have no idea what kind of shape he's in. Drew Rosenhaus says he's in football shape. Drew Rosenhaus is an agent. He's a salesman.
That's what he's supposed to say. I
don't know. All I'll
script.
say is I think I speak for everybody here. I probably speak for you too. I think it's just great to have Shaq Barrett in the building.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever wanted Shaq Barrett to go. We just didn't want to pay him at the number that he was at.
Right.
But he's the all-time single-season sack leader for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's a Super Bowl champion, had 4.5 sacks during that Super Bowl run.
He's got fresh legs.
Yeah, he's got fresh legs. And, of course, the tragedy he went through last year and everything. I think it's just great to have him back here in Tampa Bay.
It gives us good juju.
Yeah, it had good vibes.
Yeah. And he's not going to play special teams, but he's going to, you can give him a 25-play edge rush package. In fact, and listen, it tells you something about our edge rushers that we're bringing a guy off the couch who's been eating donuts for a year and a half to try to give us
I don't know if
something.
he's eating donuts, but
I don't know what kind of shape he's in. We'll find out. But I think the Bucs, they wouldn't have brought him back if they didn't think he could help them.
it also warms my heart anytime we can dunk on the city of Miami.
Yes.
That he was in Miami and he decided, I don't want to play here. And if I do come back, I'm going back to Tampa.
Yeah.
So.
Well, anybody who's experienced the two places.
That's true.
That's
obvious.
If they're not completely beholden to everything materialistic and
correct,
meaningless.
Yeah.
If you have any soul whatsoever, you want to just be in Tampa as opposed to Miami. And I mean that. But it's a team that you look at, and then when they play this way, you just go, who can't they beat? Like, who can't they beat?
They are literally the NFC's version of the Cincinnati Bengals.
And think about this.
That's what they are.
And you can throw it away all you want, but the Bucs destroyed the Commanders in week 1.
Yeah.
The Bucs beat the Eagles. And I know they didn't have their top 2 receivers. I don't care.
And the Lions.
And they went to Detroit.
And nobody beat the Eagles, by the way, for 12 weeks after that.
That's right.
Nobody beat the Lions for like 12 weeks after that.
That's right. I mean, when you look at this Bucs resume, you know what stands out? The Falcons? You lost to the Falcons twice? You lost to the Broncos, are maybe a playoff team. Did they make it yet?
They're going to need some help.
All right, so I won't bitch about that. But the Falcons?
Hell, the 49ers.
49ers
are bad.
Should beat them.
And
who else did we lose to?
They lost to the Cowboys, obviously. And you see what the Eagles did yesterday, what you should do to the Cowboys. And even the Chiefs, the Chiefs are 15-1. And this is kind of what their identity is. But we watched how that game unfolded.
Go for 2.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
9 wins, man.
This
team has 9 wins. Y'all going to get mad at me. What are you bitching about?
I think we're just calling it like we see it.
Right. And we're not bitching. We're saying this is a really good football team.
Yeah. I've heard forever, for years, people say like, oh, they're better than their record are. And I've always countered like, no, you are what your record says you are.
Bill Parcells.
Yeah. But now that I've lived through this team playing, I'm going, no, they're not. This is not. I refuse to believe this is a 9-win football team that still needs to win one more football game to make the playoffs in week 18. I refuse to believe, because they're so much better than that. It's different than 2022, JP, when they had 8 wins. No, they were an 8-win football team.
Yes, I would agree.
They were an average to bad football team that year.
Yeah.
This is different.
And can you imagine? You're going to get mad at me again. Can you imagine this team with Chris Godwin?
Oh, my gosh.
Let me move on from that before I go off the rails. Mike Holcomb says, Happy New Year, guys. Thank the Lord Raheem learned how to use timeouts from Foles. Was every Buccaneer fan saying the same thing?
I saw something last night, and I laughed, but I felt bad because we love Raheem, and it was like Raheem last night did more for the Bucs than he ever did as a head coach. And
you're wrong.
He did bring the Bucs a 10-win season. But,
you're wrong. Yeah, go back and look at the quarterbacks we played that year.
Yeah, well, we don't have to talk about that.
Sergio Obiltres says, Bucky the Ducky, hashtag love it. Paul Stewart says the trivia, JP, name the only person to have 2 block punts for touchdowns for the Bucs. I want to say like Alshirman Singleton just comes out of the back of my mind. I don't know why. You better give me the answer at some point here. 2 block punts for touchdowns. Well, Rondé. Rondé had, I know he had one. Yeah, I'm going to go Rondé. Tell me if I'm right, Paul Stewart. Rondé, who I saw Saturday night. Yeah, I saw him and the lovely Claudia and the girls at the Lightning game, the one we won, not yesterday. We'll talk about that. Bucks Basement says, let the season play out. These offensive performances just show you we cannot lose Liam. Liam could be something special. We know what Bowles is. Cohen is our next head coach. Yes, we will have that discussion at another time. Captain Morgan Duck Deck. Nicely done, Rick.
There you go. We always know you got to plug it somehow.
You got oh yeah, it's a commercial opportunity, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, you get make some money off that. I mean, you just if come on, if we do something special this season, the Duck will go down in Buccaneers lore.
Yeah, the Duck right next to the avocado tequila and all the other things.
There's a great video on I think I retweeted it or on my Instagram. Somebody caught the Duck flying in. Like caught it on their camera, flying in, it lands right next to the returner. I think it was Palmer.
Yeah,
literally 10 yards away from him.
I don't even think Trey Palmer even had a clue.
No, he looked.
Or
he saw the Duck. Yeah. He looked. Okay. He was looking at the Duck because he was looking at the Duck because the actual guy who's filming it focuses on him. So he sees the Duck and then he looks back for the punt and then he starts running forward because you don't see the punt blocked actually. So then he pans over and you see the aftermath of the punt block and the touchdown. But yeah, the Duck came on and just
see. Part of me wanted to see how the play would have transpired if it never got blocked. Like, are we stopping the play mid-play? Like, what's the Duck gonna do?
Yeah, if Trey starts moving towards the Duck, if they kick it that way, then the Duck flies up in the air. So it could have impeded Trey Palmer's catching of the football. Hits him, fumbles it. Carolina takes it in. Now it's a 27-21 football game. It goes the other way.
Yeah. You don't know.
Oh.
And I just thought to myself, too, it's like, how perfect is it? We literally have a restaurant.
And that's the old Bucs. Yeah, that's what would happen to the old Bucs, as you were saying.
Correct.
For 14 years, they got no breaks whatsoever. Now they seem to be getting all the breaks.
They get everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought to myself, too, we literally have a restaurant, too, in Tampa, right down the road from us, actually, right now. Literally called Ducky's already.
That's right.
We literally are. Like, how
Evan Longoria's place.
Like, this was perfect.
Ducky's.
It's literally perfect. It's storybook.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody has to, where's the Duck as of right now? The guy took it off the field, the guy with the ponytail. He was caressing the Duck. Did he take it home?
Can I be honest?
What?
If there was ever going to be somebody that I would imagine would be the Duck handler in that situation, it was going to be a man with a ponytail.
Yeah.
Isn't that like, no, I'm not shaming anybody with your ponytails.
Yeah.
Listen,
and he'd done that before.
Yes.
He had done that before.
Had a lot of
experience. The guy with the ball boy that was trying to get the Duck, he clearly has had no.
He did not want to touch it.
He did not want to touch it, and he has had no experience in the wild at all. He's been on his phone since he was like 5 years old.
Correct.
He has never been outside and seen a Duck. So he had no business doing, but the guy that got him, that guy has had experience with the Duck. So be very careful with the Duck. James says, easy game plan. Panthers giving up 200 yards rushing prior 4 games. So you run, and Baker played clean, but D bothered me. It's great adjustments made, but playing either Lions or Vikings, we will need 45. I think that's fair. Danny Mercado says this is be a win this weekend. If we lose out of the playoffs, Bowles will be gone. They promote Cohen to HC, and if we win, we're in the playoffs. Yeah, absolutely. That is 100% true. I know there have been some reports out there that Todd Bowles is not going to be fired, but no, I would say this, and I hate to even talk about this on this Sunday, but it's what you guys have been talking about. Half the freaking comments are about this. So, and I would say, if you say, and I've been asked this many, many times, is Bowles safe? I said, I think it all depends on how this plays out. And number one, Liam Cohen is not leaving the building. And if says, is he ready to be a head coach? The people that I've talked to, who see him in meetings and see him interact with the players, they say he commands the room. He commands the room. Does he? There are some guys that are not head coach candidates as coordinators.
I don't know if Ben Johnson works out as a head coach, to be honest with you.
I don't know much about him.
He seems like a very chill dude.
Yeah, he does. And just it's the way Liam handles his press conferences, dude is on top of it. Like he handles his press conferences like a head coach. He really does. He is incredibly knowledgeable. He's emotionally intelligent, like extremely emotionally intelligent. He reads the room really, really well. And I mean, he's got a talent for play calling. I mean, you watch the way he calls plays and sequences plays. You know, he made Dave Canales look like JV yesterday, you know, and he is compared to the way Liam does it. Yeah. His concepts in the run game are phenomenal. Do you see student body right yesterday? It's one of my favorite plays of all time. You pitch the ball to the right. You have two pullers coming that way. I mean, that was the old Ricky Bell, John McKay student body right on 3rd and 2, and Bucky gets it. And I just like that's great. That's physical football. That's athletic football, and that's what this offensive line is so good at right now. They pull and they're so athletic. I saw Gedeke on one run late in the game yesterday. Right, it was right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. I think it was a toss to Sean Tucker, whoever it was. And he gets out in front and gets onto the linebacker and drives him 15 yards down the field. Yeah. Gedeke he's very athletic. They're all athletic.
Well, what helps is that they're all young.
Yeah.
Tristan Wirfs is, 25 years old, 24 years old, I think? Yeah, he's 25 years old. Bredesen's 26. Barton's 22? Malk's 23. Gedeke's 23, 24?
Mm-hmm.
They're all young. Like, I feel like that has to mean something. Like, when you have a bunch of guys who are all very, very young, they're all like in year 4 or less right now, and you have the ability, like the athleticism is on display in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, by the way, when they're just straight up doing pass blocking, I mean, all 5 of them, I mean, working like a fist right now.
Yeah.
Like they're just so good.
They got exposed against the Cowboys, though. They could not, for whatever reason.
Everybody got exposed against the Cowboys.
That game was just such a dud. It was such a dud, and they could not protect Baker. They could not protect him, and they didn't lean on the run game enough. We could go back to that Cowboys game all day long, but it's when they play like they did yesterday. And let's remember, it was a 4-win Panthers team, but they've been plucky, especially the second part of the season. They really have. We didn't mention this as much. The tight end stepped up. 7th rounder Devin Culp was a bonus. This team should have won 12. By the way, Raheem clock management worse than Bowles last night. Let 20 seconds run off before missed field goal to win. Unreal. Yeah, that was just an absolute disaster. Dave Archer's going to join us at 11:30. Just wanted to get him on to talk about the Falcons and Michael Penix, Tampa's own. That was interesting watching him make plays and Ray McLeod make plays.
You have any idea how
night.
bad that? Like, I was watching the game last night. I'm sitting on the couch with my wife, and I'm telling her like a little bit about Michael Penix. I was like, yeah, he's a Tampa kid. He went to Tampa Bay. Was it Tampa Bay Tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, when we wrecked Durant, he was a senior. He played at Durant. He beat the crap out of us. Now he's in the NFL. I want to root for him, but at the same time, I really want them to get their ass kicked tonight. And it's like, it sucks. Like,
well, you know what though? He came up big last night. Those 2 4th down plays. Really, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me? Those throws on 4th down. Wow. He's special.
I mean, going forward, the Falcons. I mean, the way he throws,
He's so good.
He just it just comes off the hand differently.
Yeah.
It explodes off his hand.
And the accuracy.
Yes, I
The
mean,
deep
and in
balls.
different ways he can get it out of his hand.
And I said that pre-draft. I said, Michael Penix, Jaden Daniels and Michael Penix were my top 2 quarterbacks in this draft. And I thought both of them were going to be great pros, really, really good pros. And I think it's going to pan out. The Kirk Cousins disaster has set the Falcons back 2 years just because of the cap problems it brings.
But
and the players that they could have had for that money.
Isn't it amazing, though, the decisions, though, how they look different now than what they did then? Because when they took Penix after signing Cousins, it was just panned worldwide of what the hell are the Falcons doing?
Yeah. I kept saying Penix is going to be great. The problem is not drafting Penix. It was never the problem. The problem was signing Kirk Cousins.
But we never could have envisioned, 14 games into a season, they're pulling the plug on Kirk Cousins. I didn't think it was ever going to get to that point. But
yeah, I thought he'd be a little bit better this year, but not great.
Yeah.
Not great. I didn't think he would be great. I thought it would be very Derek Carr-ish.
Yeah, but to me, that makes me going forward, I'm actually more worried about the Falcons now because I think Penix is a real player. And
absolutely.
And nobody's going to doubt the other great players on that offense around him.
They've got players. And they screwed this whole thing up.
I'm just happy they didn't do this 7-8 weeks ago.
Right.
I don't know if the Falcons for the part of the season that allowed the Bucs to get back into that.
No, they were too slow to get rid of Kirk Cousins. They never should have had him in the first place. I mean, good. I'm glad. Thank you, Terry Fontenot. Way to go. Way to screw that whole thing up. But and that matters, man. That matters for years and years to come. Because what they could have been doing with that salary cap room, going out and getting pass rushers and corners that they need. But no.
And also they let Calais Campbell out the building too. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They let him go to Miami. Weird.
Sergio Bilches says, what are the chances Liam stays with the Bucs? 100%. I'm just going to tell you that. 100%. He ain't effing leaving. Why not Baker for MVP conversation, says Bucs Raise Bolts. Why not?
It's just the field is unbelievable this year. It's way too stacked.
Yeah.
There's about 4 guys you could give it to, and I'll go, okay.
Most seasons, his numbers would be there.
He'd be in right now, he's probably in that second tier. I mean, Lamar Jackson, like everybody was putting it on Josh Allen, but every time I see Lamar Jackson play, I'm like, it's hard. I know he's already won 2, but it's like, he's insane. Saquon just rushed for 2,000 yards this year. Burrow, if the Bengals find a way into the playoffs, Burrow to me is the true MVP. So Baker's probably in that second tier.
Yeah. Who cares? I mean, would it be nice to have an MVP? Sure.
But listen, we're talking, could you ever have imagined in March 2023 when they signed him to a 1-year deal worth $4 million guaranteed that we'd ever even be having MVP conversations, 16, 17 months later?
Yeah. You know me. I've been a big Baker proponent from the day they signed him, or maybe a week after. When I really dug into his work, I was like, I really like this pickup. And a lot of it was because of the intangibles. And then when we met him, I was all in.
Yeah.
I was all in. I'm like, this guy's got something special. He's humbled. And then as you saw him work through the OTAs and showing up, every charity event I went to, oh, Baker Mayfield's here. Oh, look who's here. Oh, it's Baker and Emily. Look who it is. Where's Tom?
Oh, here we go. Putting a face cover to go to Target. That's what he's doing.
Exactly. And then everything he's done since. And he's thrown the most touchdown passes since the beginning of 2023.
Yeah.
How about that?
Crazy.
It's unbelievable. All right. We'll take a break here. We'll come back and we'll get some more comments from you guys. We're going to play some sound from yesterday as well. Some interesting things from a lot of the Buccaneers, Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield. So we'll hear from them. We'll get into some college football as well. We got some big games coming up. We got to go around the NFL. Some other things to talk about. An FSU basketball scandal. This story is unbelievable. We got to get to that, and then maybe in the football program as well. And of course, the Lightning. So much to get to. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. We're in the Jeeves Law Group studio today. We love it here. And if you are involved in an accident, you got to call the Jeeves Law Group. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Have an aggressive attorney be your advocate. It's great to be local here as well. That's important. Smaller firm that makes you important. It's the Jeeves Law Group. JeevesLawGroup.com is the website. Contact them through there. Not attorney spokesman. Offices St. Pete, Tampa. Back in 3. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results, whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all. It's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Tarpon Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to Victory Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show here. Hey, don't forget about the post-holiday sale at the Golden Diamond Source. If you got a little extra Christmas cash in your stocking, stop by the Golden Diamond Source. A limited time, 50% off everything in the store. What? Rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, 50% off of everything. New Year's is the best time to get engaged as well, so where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source. They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. Didn't you have a great experience over there, Nick, when you went to the Gold and Diamond Source?
I did. I had a fantastic experience. My sister-in-law and her fiance also just went over there last week and got their rings too. So.
It's so easy. It's a stressful time.
Yep, very.
It's a stressful time.
Very.
You don't want to get ripped off.
And us men, we don't know much about the ring game.
No, we don't know anything about the ring game. But that's why, and you trust them. Because you can go into any jewelry store. Do you trust those people? They'd be selling you a fake diamond. Yeah. And you don't want that. And you can't tell the difference, right? So that's why you go to the Golden Diamond Source. They've been in business for over 40 years. Julie and Steve Weintraub. So make it a Golden Diamond Source diamond. Don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. That's important as well. 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, I don't know where to go here if we just stay with the Bucs, but there are a couple other stories I wanted to get to. But let's clean this up with all the great comments you guys got coming in, says I love our listeners and love you guys participating. Rick is on fire. Baker's playing like he doesn't give a duck. LDG. LDG now.
LDG.
We got LFB, and now we got LDG. Yeah.
Man.
The merchandising opportunities are just through the roof.
Before that, we used to be eating our ABCs, man. We graduated so well.
You're no longer eating W's?
No, we're not.
Yeah, our promotion game is so much better.
Yep.
Welcome Shaq Barrett get some action Sunday. I think he does.
Yeah, I think he's in there.
Yeah, I think he does. Boy, we need Winfield back. Boy, do we ever.
I need Winfield back and also playing like Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah, not like he did
There's
this
a
year.
difference there.
Yeah. He's been hurt all year. It's been a bad season for him. The curse of the big contract.
Yeah, and also let me just point this out because I'm gonna look ahead because I'm going to say it right now. The Buccaneers are going to win next week against the New Orleans Saints.
They're winning that
I
game.
mean, the Saints just lost to the Raiders. Come on.
Yeah, there's no way. I know the Saints, but there's the Saints. They got some type of voodoo ass mojo on us, man. At home.
We need to put this.
You know what? I'm not even going to speak that into existence.
Lattimore's gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer on that team. Cam Jordan is old and
he's
washed,
so old and washed,
and I'm tired of it. Let's put this guy to bed.
Yeah, I'm not even going to entertain. In fact, I'm not going to entertain it at all this week.
So I'm just going to say it. The Bucs are going to go and they're going to kick.
Smash their.
They're going to kick the Saints' ass.
They're going to
make them quit after 2 quarters.
I love it.
And then they're going to go play the Vikings or the Lions in round 1 of the playoffs. And here's my concern: is that Buccaneer secondary, with or without Antoine Winfield Jr. Now Jamel Dean's hurt again. Shocker. And it's his knees, plural. Knees.
You hurt both his knees at the same time.
Both his knees at the same time. So I don't know what's happening there. We've already established that Jordan Whitehead he's just taking up space out there right now. I hate to be mean, but he's not playing well.
We thought that was going to be the guy.
He's not the guy.
He's not the guy anymore.
And I'm thinking about, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameis Williams, Sam Laporta. Okay, I know. I'd rather play Minnesota. Oh, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawk. I don't like the matchups, folks.
Are the quarterbacks any good?
Jared Goff, Sam Darnold. Kind of both went the Baker route. I don't know.
Isn't that interesting? The retread quarterback is suddenly vogue.
It's in.
The retread quarterback. It just goes to show
somebody needs to go take a chance on Zach Wilson next year.
Wait a minute.
Too far.
But it's interesting. You go back and when I went back and studied Baker, I was like, I'm watching the film from the playoff team in Cleveland, and I'm like, this guy, look at this play action game. He's got a really good arm. He's accurate. He's a little loose with the football, and I still think that is a little bit of an issue for him. It's an issue. Let's just be honest about that. Don't want to be completely Pollyanna today.
No.
But I was like, this guy's better than a lot of people think he is. And then I went and watched, the Carolina film was a joke. That place was a freaking disaster.
I mean, look what Darnold and Baker did yesterday.
Yeah.
And the Panther,
it's a joke. And so, and everybody kept saying, oh, he's on his third team in 2 years. I'm like, so what does that mean? So the Browns got rid of him for Deshaun Watson. Great move.
Fun fact, Baker Mayfield had 5 touchdown passes yesterday.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson and Dorian Thompson-Robinson have 5 touchdowns combined this year for the Browns.
Yeah. Listen to this. So is it the organization or is it the player? Let me think about it. So then you go, what? And then you go, wait, he got with the Rams in the first week. He was playing well. What do you know? With a good organization, with an offensive guru and an actual clue of what they're doing, he looked really good. Came off the bench and won a game for him.
Yeah, I mean, look at the rookie quarterbacks this year
Mm-hmm.
that get paired with the right guy. Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, perfect marriage. Bo Nix, a guy who I thought had no chance as an NFL starter in this league. I thought taking him at 12 was outrageous. But he's with Sean Payton.
When Sean Payton took him that high, I was like, "Oop,
yeah, Sean Payton knows.
He knows something,
right?
He knows something
working
about
out
it
pretty well.
Yeah,
Drake May is impressive because he's working with nobody and he's still balling.
Yeah, he is.
But Caleb Williams, that marriage has been a disaster.
Yeah,
and organizational dysfunction, of course, in Chicago forever.
Yeah,
so much. It's all situation based in the NFL.
It's all situation based, and you get with. I shouldn't say that. Like I look at Caleb Williams, and he's got a lot to learn. He's young. He's got talent, but he is really ingrained with some bad habits that he's got to get coached out of.
And unfortunately,
I haven't seen him grow at all this year.
Unfortunately, I mean, I see wow throws from him. Like
all the time.
He has a handful of wow throws every game where I go, see, that's what you expect from Caleb Williams. But man, that's Chicago is just a spot that just doesn't seem like a place where you need. If you need
I
don't
think he sees the field. He just, he makes great throws to guys that are covered. Okay, that's arm talent. But if he doesn't see it right away, he's pulling it down. He's going backwards, which you can't do in this league.
Right.
You got to step up in the pocket, and then he runs around and makes plays. And I don't see any growth. He doesn't throw picks though. He doesn't throw picks.
No.
He holds the ball too much though. There's guys that are open. You got to pull the freaking trigger.
He's been sacked like 70 times this year, and probably half of them are on him.
So yeah, a lot of it is, and look at Baker Mayfield. He came here with Dave Canales, who had a good scheme. I thought he wasn't a great play caller, but he had a good scheme, especially in the passing game, because it was this Rams Seattle hybrid, but mostly that was Sean McVay that he learned in Seattle, or what he was running. And then we upgrade, and then you had a good young offensive line. He had weapons for Baker. Mm-hmm. He had weapons. So you put that together, and I said, this is going to be successful. I think Baker's going to be successful. He's got a better arm than people think. He's got a stronger arm than people think. By all measurements, you go back and look at it, the combine, the guy has velocity. He's accurate for the most part. And now he's working with these type of weapons and Liam Cohen, and you see what, and a good offensive line and a decent running game. He's got everything he needs now to be a great quarterback in his league, and his stats are showing that. So I don't think it was as big a miracle as you think. And I think you look at Jared Goff, you look at Sam Darnold, they're getting with good coaches, with great weapons, good offensive lines. This is what should happen.
Right.
So, but no, that ain't happening with Zach Taylor or
Zach Wilson.
No, I don't. Who would be my next,
who's the next reclamation project that you would take a flyer on?
Maybe Justin Fields. I don't know. He's just limited from a passing standpoint.
I ain't going to be in Pittsburgh with Arthur Smith. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that. I'm not going to worry about that today. I'm going to celebrate this Bucs team a little bit more. Michael LaRue, good morning to you. Said the Bucs played a perfect game except letting Thielen get behind the defense for 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that bothers me.
I'm almost bothered that the Panthers didn't trade Adam Thielen. I mean, that dude should be helping out a playoff team right now, not wilting away on a 4-win team to end his career.
Thomas Casper is not impressed with Michael Penix. Penix is the stiffest quarterback since Dan Marino's last season. He kind of reminds me of a left-handed Dan Marino, to be honest with you. He looks like Kenny Stabler more than anything. He's got such a good arm and a great touch. Bucky Irving, should MVP on this team use secret weapon? Is he? Paul Stewart said I was right. Last one with 2 punt blocks for touchdown. Rondi, I got it right. With my second guess. That was my real guess, though. Paul says, well done, JP. Second win over me after that putt. Yeah, you let me win. I know you did. Wait, he let the duck go? RJ Martin said he let the duck go.
Is it back in the Hillsborough River already? We really did this?
You know, I know where that duck comes, because I actually, about a year and a half ago, stopped at the Dale Mabry stoplight with, I think it's Tampa Bay Boulevard. There was a duck trying to cross the road that looked just like that. And I got out and I picked him up and I brought him back to the retention pond. Oh. I saved his life. He wouldn't have made it across Dale Mabry.
That's emotional.
I wonder if it's the same duck.
So basically, what's happening here is you're trying to make it about me. Yeah, you're trying to make it about you, which is just typical JP here. Okay,
it looks just like it.
Yeah,
I'm
sure. It has the same little spot on it that the other one had. Yeah.
Yes,
of course.
Yes, but there are a bunch of ducks that live in that retention pond right over there. So he probably came from there. So
yeah, I don't think there's.
Hopefully they took it back.
I'm sure there's no other retention ponds in the state of Florida. You're right.
No. Gruden brought in the duck?
I was thinking about that. Gruden would have a ball with that duck, too.
He would. Jiminy Christmas. Rick Martin says Shaq Barrett was just cut. He ate the duck after the game. He was left alone. Come on, dog. Oh, Sergio Biltres says we need to grab an elite edge rusher in free agency and draft a middle linebacker and another edge. We're already working towards next season. You know, we got playoffs coming up, kids. But I would agree with you there, 100%. Michael LaRue, bowl win since 2007. Bobby Bowden has 2. Miami has 1. Speaking of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, I tell you what, let's take a break, and we're going to come back and talk some college football and this NIL scandal going on at FSU that popped up this morning. Dude, I'm like so upset, angry, sad about what's happening to college football.
Like every time I just want to enjoy it, there's some nonsense that happens that just like reminds me that it's hard to.
Yeah. I'm either going to cry in the next segment or go on just an unbelievably passionate rant.
Just go unhinged.
I think that's coming.
Just go unhinged.
Because I am unhinged about this stuff. I am completely unhinged.
I know you are. I've been following you on Twitter, your work.
I cannot. I just cannot. There's so many people to blame. All right, we'll transition into some college football stuff here. We'll keep going with Bucs. We got some Bucs audio. We'll run the second half. Dave Archer is going to join us at 11:30. So we got a lot more coming your way. We're brought to you by the Gurade folks at Italiano Insurance, folks. It's the beginning of the year. Always a great time for the old insurance checkup, as we like to call it, where you're going to start getting those homeowners bills and some of those other things. Why not just shop them around? There's a lot of companies that are coming into Florida that offer some lower rates, but you don't know if they're good companies. Italiano's done all the vetting for you. They'll shop it around for you, hopefully save you some money, get you flood insurance if you need it, make sure that you're not underinsured. That's a problem as well. All those things Italiano can do for you with the great customer service that they have. So give them a call, 813-877-7799. They'll do your auto insurance, all of it. In fact, keep it all at one place, and they'll help you out, keep everything organized. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing it for over 60 years locally. 813-877-7799. Back in 3. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Tarpon Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on a victory Monday as the Bucs throttle the Carolina Panthers 48-14. Baker Mayfield throws for 5 tutties, 323 yards. Devin Culp, 3 catches for 52. Devin Culp, we haven't mentioned him much today. Payne Durham with a touchdown that he throws the ball into the stands, and they have to go negotiate to get the ball back.
That happened twice yesterday in the NFL. A.J. Brown did the same thing to Tanner McKee's touchdown.
What are we doing?
He threw it into the stands, and then he got back to the sideline. He's like, what did I do? What did I just do? I had to go give this jersey, signed it to the fan and all that. See, in my opinion, if you're the fan who gets it, I mean, you just got a great thing.
Right. So I guess somebody went up. Baker told one of the staffers to go up into the stands and find the kid with the ball. So a little kid named Raheem, oddly enough. What's his name, Raheem?
God, Raheem's were saving the day.
Yesterday,
all day.
Yeah. And they said, so they brought him down. They said, we want to meet with Baker after the game. We have the negotiation to do. Evan Washburn, the sideline reporter, was all over it. So they brought him down there, and I guess they consummated the deal afterwards. They got the ball back.
Nice.
I wonder what he had to give up.
Wait, what happened?
That little kid we wanted something.
What was it in 2021? Didn't Mike give away Brady's?
Yeah. They had to negotiate to get that ball back.
Like the touchdown pass,
Yeah.
that set the record.
Or tied the record.
Yeah.
One of those.
I think whoever caught that ball got a lot more stuff. I believe.
I would have taken the cash.
Remember, we had a whole segment
Hell
dedicated
yeah.
to what that person should get.
I don't understand why fans ever think that they owe these multi-gazillionaires some type of discount to get the ball back. Are you freaking kidding me?
I'm pretty sure this was the thing with the
it's your moment.
it was like the Freddie Freeman ball, the in the World Series.
Yeah.
Like if anybody came to me saying like, "Hey, we want that ball, we want to authenticate," I'd be like, "Oh, really?" And then, by the way, that fan
The dude's making $60 million a year.
Fan sold that ball for $4 million.
Damn right. God,
And
yes.
if the Dodgers can't give me that, damn it, man.
You want it? Listen, I got it. I'm giving you a right of first refusal. You got money. Y'all are dripping in money. I'm not. You want it? With some obligation for a fan to pay these overpriced athletes to give them a discount for? Oh, it's for the good of the game. If you're a true, screw that. These guys are making $50-60 million a year off the fans.
No.
What are you, out of your mind? It's my turn to cash in.
I should have been like, "Do you play for free?"
Nope. You want me to play for free?
No.
I pays my money. I caught my balls. You paying me.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Speaking of money. So the $38 million roster that got you the Pop-Tarts Bowl at the University of Miami.
Well, it didn't get you. They didn't win it. Remember that. They got you a spot on the field in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
That's right.
In the crappy Camping World. Remember that?
Yeah. You get to go to Orlando, Miami players. I think USF got a better deal, if I'm not mistaken. But they did. Yeah, so you get to go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl and play in that crap stadium. And then Miami jumps out to a big league. Cam's slinging it all over the place.
Yeah.
And then he retires. He quits at halftime.
Yeah.
And it comes down to Iowa State fights back. I think they were down, 21? If a terrible Miami defense takes over. And Cam sits.
Yeah.
Like, why play the first half?
Well, there was some sort of record, I guess, he was trying to get.
Oh, so he gets the record,
Yeah.
and then he sits.
Yeah.
So so Rocco, our man Rocco Becht, leads him down the field. Iowa State. What did they win? 11 games this year? 12 games? There's got to be a record for Iowa
11
State.
games.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So he takes him down the field, scores on the fourth down quarterback sneak. They go up 42-41. There's a minute left. All the Miami Hurricanes got to do is get into field goal range. Got a great kicker in Borregales. Cam Ward ain't coming on the field. He ain't playing. And I'm here to say, if Cam Ward takes the field, sorry, Iowa State, I don't want to be mean, they're winning that game.
Correct.
They're winning that game. But then I said, that's just awful. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that to your teammates? And then, somebody on Twitter corrected me and said, first of all, Pop-Tarts Bowl is meaningless.
It's true.
In the grand scheme of things. He's obviously up to be the number one choice in the draft. If he gets hurt in the second half, that's a disaster. I get it. And so as much as I want to blame Cam Ward, it's not his fault. It's the grown-ups that have screwed this up. Now, Shedeur went out and played.
Yeah, and he was taking a beating.
Yes.
And I don't think there was ever any question that Shedeur was coming out of that football game.
Yeah. Well, and he should have. But he played.
But he gave an honorable answer after the game. We started something, we're going to finish it as a team. And why should we get away from that?
I'm with you.
That's my issue with this whole thing. Is everybody?
But we're putting it on the players.
I'm not putting it on the player. I'm putting it on the people that are above them.
Agree.
Because somewhere along the way, we've allowed all the nonsense and all the change in college football to make everybody have this viewpoint of, well, things are just different now, so we need to change with the times.
No.
Bull crap.
I agree with you. Look at you, young man. Because you're old school.
I am, but it bothers me. Because you want to know why, JP? And I don't mean to get on a soapbox here.
No, please do.
But I play sports still, in certain leagues and stuff like that, grown men, adult leagues, whatever. I have to pay money to play for
That's
these
right.
things, okay?
That's right.
I drive all the way out to Lutz every Tuesday to go to the Lightning Training Center to play in a hockey league.
Yeah.
And I take it very, very serious.
Yeah.
Because I want to win.
I ain't driving out here to lose.
I don't mean to make it about me and the fact that I'm just playing in some league on a Tuesday night for an hour, but I want to win.
Do you want to score lots of goals or do you want to win?
I want to win. Okay.
That's the way I've always been conditioned. I want to win.
When you're on a team, that's why I love what Dion and Kalani Sitake, the way they approach the Alamo Bowl.
Yes.
That's what why do we get away from that? So what? You're not playing in the national championship.
You're playing for your team. It's the last time you're going to play for your team.
Exactly. That's what pisses me off.
That you sweated with, that you busted your ass with all through training camp. I mean, the bonds of players and teams. It's like it doesn't matter anymore, and I hate that.
Yes, and I don't blame Cam Ward, because I know that here's the thing that I have, and Mario Cristobal to me has made this 1,000 times worse than it needed to be. Which, shocker, the guy's tone deaf on many things. He
has no emotional intelligence whatsoever.
I understand that in a bowl game that now everybody says is meaningless, you want to see what your backup, Emory Williams, you want to get him a shot out there against a really good football team because he's probably going to be your starter next year. I got that, but just say it. But this is what he does after the game when asked about it. I think all meetings with players and decisions like that, we make them in private. We keep them in private. So I'll prefer not to answer questions as it relates to that. I know he played his best while he was in there. When you give a statement like that,
right,
you make all the talk the subject of everything.
Yeah.
And it makes it seem like what's going on here. Now Cam Ward has to answer questions to everybody of, did you quit on your team?
What was in the meeting?
Cam Ward, I hate to break it to you. Cam Ward's not a kid.
Yeah.
He's an adult.
Yeah.
Making a lot of money.
Yep.
That, you know what? Fans are paying that salary too,
That's right.
by the way.
That's right.
If I'm a fan, I'm not owed an explanation from Cam Ward's mouth.
You're damn right you are. Hell yeah, you are.
And from what I understand, he didn't speak to the media at all leading up to this game anywhere. They kept him shielded from all this. If you're going to make all this money at this school,
you got to be accountable.
And you're an adult and you're basically a professional athlete, and that's what we're calling you now, you got to answer to it.
Yeah, I totally agree. But what did Colorado do? They went out. I saw Dion talking about this. They went out and got the most expensive insurance policies ever, so these kids could play in the game.
Yeah, which every school probably could do.
Yeah. Why didn't FSU do this last year for their players? I was yelling about it then. You're getting an $8 million payout. I know a lot of that goes to the conference, but the conference should step up and pay it. If you want these players to go play and represent you in the bowl game, freaking pay the insurance cost. Pay the insurance costs, protect them against injury so they can go out and play. And if you're not going to do that, then they have no obligation to play. Here's another thing. If you sign an NIL contract, that NIL contract better damn well cover the bowl game. And if you don't play, you don't get paid. And I would save a large chunk of that money till after the season. And you don't get paid until you finish the season. Simple as that. You want to enter the transfer portal and like Mensa did and go transfer to Duke if you're the Tulane quarterback instead of playing in your damn bowl game with all your boys? That's ridiculous. All these players should be paid to play the bowl games. It's extra revenue. Guess who gets the revenue? ESPN. Most of these ball games are owned by ESPN, and they're getting the revenue. So the bowl payouts or whatever it is should be covering the insurance policies for these players so they can go play. Free to know that if something does happen, they're covered. And Cam Ward, yeah, it's going to be expensive. There's a lot of money out there, and he should have the insurance policy to go and play. And I love what Dion said about that. And we need to champion that. We need to champion what that they did as opposed to what so many other teams are doing and players are doing. So, but so much of this goes back just to the original argument I've had. The house is burning, man. People are running away. The fandom is going away from college football because of all these ridiculous things that are going on. There are no guardrails like there are in the NFL. We have contracts. We have player movement contracts. Like you can't just go be a free agent every year. Like there are rules, and these things need to be collectively bargained with a collegiate union. You could just basically move the same rules over, applicably. I mean, obviously, there's way more college teams than are NFL teams. You're not going to have a draft, but you can basically do the same things in terms of movement. You sign an NIL deal, a quote scholarship. You are bound to that team. You're bound to the team as long as you're getting paid. Same thing. You can't transfer. You signed a deal. You can't transfer unless both people agree to it. It's pretty simple stuff. They're contracts. So there's lots of guardrails that can be put into place. And I don't see anybody doing anything. I don't see any sense of urgency. I see a lot of people just throwing up their hands, like you said, and going, well, that's the way it is now. No. And explain the story that happened at Florida State here.
Yeah, this was from Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports. He dropped this bombshell report here that FSU men's basketball coach Leonard Hamilton is being sued by 6 former Florida State basketball players over unpaid promises on NIL compensation in the total of $1.5 million, and acknowledged it within the documents. They say they boycotted a practice last season over the missed payments, and that practice happened to be before a February 17 game against Duke, where they reportedly walked out of the gym showing their frustration. They intended to boycott the game. Hamilton discovered the plan in a meeting in the team's film room, re-emphasized the money would be in the players' accounts the very next week. The players played in the game, and they lost to Duke 76-67. There's some other things in here about certain players saying they were tired of the lies, the money situation weighing a lot on them and affecting them on the court. Florida State notably went 17-16 last season, and it was not great. So it was 6 players, $250,000 each, that apparently there were delays in these payments. So he's being sued.
The coach is being sued.
Yeah, Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah, and Billy Napier being sued by the quarterback. This is so ridiculously out of control.
They don't work in the UNLV thing with Matthew Sluka.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Yeah. Did anybody ever see playing anywhere? Did he get on anybody else?
Still in the transfer portal as far as I know, but
Yeah. I don't think anybody wants to touch him with a 10-foot pole. But how did we not know about this? I mean, Florida State, I know you're not going to come to the press and report these things. There has, I mean, how fraudulent is that? You're selling tickets to a game, to an FSU Duke game. And I remember people were like, oh, you know what? Maybe we can beat Duke and get back on track. Well, no, that's not going to happen because your team just walked out of practice because of NIL money. And why are coaches promising NIL money that they're not delivering? Like, what the hell's going on with that? And I don't want to besmirch Leonard Hamilton because, he's.
And by the way, it's mentioned there in the suit that Leonard said the payments would come. The payments never came. Like, the players never got the money at all.
Wow.
And now all these players have since moved on. So they don't think it's ever coming.
So he literally told them, listen, go out and play tonight. It's on national television.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what would have happened if ESPN shows up and they get ready to tip it off and the players walked off the court?
You would have gotten what you wanted. You would have gotten a Florida State team boycotting ESPN.
Oh, we did that. Didn't work out so well for anybody except Georgia. God, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of all of this. I mean, you greedy SOBs. I'm talking to you, the administrators, not the players. The players are just doing what they're being told to do by their agents and their parents. And basically now you have 18 and 19-year-olds running college football and basketball because you greedy sons of bitches for 20 years, you knew this was coming and you did nothing about it. You did nothing about it except keep stuff in your pockets and trying to protect your own turf like the ACC was doing against FSU and FSU trying to get more money. And it's just everything is about money, money, money. And listen, I know college sports has been about money for a long, long time, but we saw this coming. There are ways, look, the NFL is a business. So is college football. There are ways to handle this, to bring it above board. And still, I mean, is it all about the one person in the NFL? No, there's still team chemistry. There's still people talking about team and doing team things and being loyal to their team and those things. I mean, yeah, do we have walkouts in training camp? Yes, we have those things, but it's kind of held to a minimum. You're ruining the college game with all this stuff because you guys can't figure out how to divide up the money. That's the problem. The problem is the SEC wants to keep all their money. The Big Ten wants to keep all their money. Nobody wants to make everything a revenue share. So there's an equal playing field across college football. They don't want that. They want to keep, they're the bigger brands. They want to keep all the money. But at some point, somebody's going to have to get everybody collectively and even the playing field and put guardrails on all this stuff. But in order to do that, you need the powerful ones to kind of acquiesce to the other ones. And that's where the rubber meets the road. It's everybody protecting their own money. And it's all about greed. That's why we can't get any meaningful change. So somebody's going to have to step up from a legislative standpoint and force these teams, most of which are supported by federal money and state money. And that's how you force them to do it. And we get a commissioner and we just blow it up and put it all back together with some guardrails. So these things aren't happening in the bowl games, playoff games, whatever. And behind the scenes, we're looking at teams that are going to quit over NIL money. I mean, again, I do not want to besmirch Leonard Hamilton, but if he promised these kids $250,000 and they didn't have it and he was lying to them and they never got the money, wow, that's a stain on a very impressive legacy for Leonard Hamilton.
And it would probably be it'd be the end of Leonard Hamilton. It would have to be. And listen, there have already been discussions. Like, I think we're pretty much all on the same thing. Well, Leonard Hamilton's had a hell of a run at Florida State, 25 years.
It's time.
But it's time. It's probably been time for a little bit now.
Yeah, and this, will probably be the last straw, I would think.
Yeah.
Because nobody's coming to Florida State to play when they all know this is going on. The coaches is allegedly promising cash and not delivering it to the players. And then not only that, but lying to them to get them out on the floor to play a game and never coming through with the money. That's bad. Yeah. And how did they even get to that? Were their contracts signed? I mean, I don't want to, promises made. What the hell does that mean? You're in practice and the guy goes, I want $250,000. The coach goes, all right, we'll get you the money. I mean, is that how it goes down? I don't think so. It's not the way it should be. Do we have written contracts on these things? We should.
I don't know. I just struggle. Again, if you're a coach at this point, NBA, NFL, if you're in basketball or football, just leave it to those two sports because those are the two sports where you're going to have mostly of these issues pop up. Pro sports looks a hell of a lot of a better gig right now.
Oh, for coaches?
Yeah. I mean, even Jim. I mean, last week Jim Larinaga, steps down. I know Miami's not playing well.
Well, that's part of the reason because they went to the Final Four and the whole team went into the transfer portal.
Right.
Because here's the thing: if your team's playing just for money, there's always someone with more money.
Yeah, I just again, it's I find myself so exhausted having these discussions about college athletics because at the end of the day, it's like, even when you take football, for example, and we have September to the end of November, and we all sit around our TVs every Saturday, or we go to our barbecues, or we go to the bars, we go to the games. I feel like we're not thinking about any of this stuff. We're all locked in on the games. The games are great. And then it's like the second we get a break in action, there's always something that happens like this. And then we got to endure a whole 8-9 months off season. Talking about it because we
rarely talk about the stuff on the field.
No, that's my problem. The stuff on the field does not matter. And you know what? The stuff on the field never really matters anyway, because we have a college football playoff going on right now. And after 1 week of games, the first year we finally have this thing that everybody wanted, what's everybody doing? They're bitching about it.
Yeah. Terrible games. Terrible matchups.
Why did we go to 12?
Home teams.
Why are these teams in here?
Yeah, they shouldn't have been in. They should have. I told you.
Goodness gracious. We're active. I mean, and yet people are just going to ignore how apparently it's no longer difficult to play on the road at Penn State. It's no longer difficult to go on the road and play in Texas or Ohio State or Notre Dame. None of that matters.
But they earned it.
None of that matters. It's not.
I mean, was Tennessee did Ohio State that much better than Tennessee that they earned the home field? There's a lot of problems in this, but they can all be solved if the adults just got together and used their brains. And also gave up some of their territory, like the SEC and the Big Ten. Yeah, exactly. It's never going to happen.
We're just shouting into the abyss at this point about
it. The elites are going to elite. They ain't giving up nothing.
It's unfortunately, listen, college. I just speak to college football, but college basketball is going to have the same effect.
It already has. College basketball is completely irrelevant now, except for 2 weeks.
But in college football, we all know this. So we're gonna play one more year of this playoff, and in 2026, we're gonna go to 14, and the Big Ten and the SEC are gonna get 4 automatic teams. 4 and 4, that's 8, and then they're still gonna be bitching that the 6th best team in their conference didn't get the auto bid.
Yeah,
and then we're just gonna have to live with it.
Here's the thing about college sports is the reason it works is because of the emotion that's attached to the fans. The fans are loyal to their universities
because we are the university.
We are the university. We are part of it. Yes. I went to Florida State. I'm a Seminole. This is my team. This is my field. This is my program.
Correct.
Like it's part of me. It's part of me, right? And so it's the emotional attachment because guess what? The players come and the players go. But I'm always rooting for what? The garnet and the gold.
Yeah.
You're always rooting. So loyalty, emotion, family. That's all. That's what college sports is. It's that emotional attachment to your college years. You want to go back to campus, right? But here's the thing. If the players are just mercenaries and it's just about money, you ruin that part and that emotional connection. And when you ruin the emotional connection, guess what? You don't have people wanting to spend money, $25,000 just for the right to buy tickets. And your whole business model explodes. So you greedy mofos, you better figure it out because you're ruining the game. You're ruining the game. It's not the player's fault. You know what? It's a little bit of the player's fault. I'm sorry. If I played my whole career with the team, and, that's the thing. Cam Ward didn't do that. He just showed up this year, put on a jersey that meant nothing to him, and collected his check.
Bidder, yeah.
He just went to the highest bidder. He's got no loyalty. You got to build that back into the system, man. You got to build it back into the system. Now, there's NFL football. There's a faux loyalty. I think we kind of believe Tom Brady was, bled, pewter, and red. No. But we like to think that, right? But I think we just understand it. That's the game, right? But we all want you to be a team player, and be a team player.
Very few people are like the Rondé Barbers of the world,
right?
That could have left at some point when things were bad. Meant a lot to him to stay a Buccaneer for his entire career. Mike Evans, Levante David. I mean, the Bucs are lucky they've had these players. It's not like that everywhere.
But they have gotten a family atmosphere going. I mean, they have developed this culture where people want to stay for less money. And that's a credit to the organization. They do that through loyalty. They do that through the way they treat their players, and they create a family atmosphere. And hats off to the Glazers, Jason Light, and the coaching staff for creating that because it's a winning mentality. And now you want, Nick Saban created that at Alabama. Kirby Smart created that at Georgia. But now you're losing it. Now you're losing that. So, and coaches are getting sued. And coaches are lying to players about money. You got to fix it, man. Don't destroy my college football. Please, please. All right, quick break. When we come back, Dave Archer is going to join us from the Falcons Radio Network. Why we talk about the Falcons? Because that's how the Buccaneers got in last night. It was one of the greatest games, frankly, I've ever seen in the NFL. It was that good for a lot of different storylines. Michael Penix, Tampa's own, becoming a great pressure quarterback in that moment. No question about that. So we'll talk to Dave. We are brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC. If you have any problems with plumbing or AC, you just want an honest tech, right? You want somebody to show up on time, do a professional job for the right price and not screw you over. That's what Third Generation Plumbing is all about. 3 generations here in Tampa. Actually, the family goes back to the 40s here in Tampa. John Rodriguez is the owner. If anything is wrong, you can go to him and he will make it right. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com is the website. Contact him through there and tell him JP sent you. Back in 3 with Dave Archer.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is 2-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to GettysGordonGroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. Hey, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There's been a lot of talk about lab-grown diamonds. Oh, they're just like the real thing. No, they're not. They're not the real thing. They're lab-grown. They're fake. You want to give your honey a fake diamond? Not a good way to start off the relationship, folks. Take my word for it. Get the real thing, and no place better to shop than the Gold and Diamond Source. And remember, if you shop anywhere else, you don't know if it's real. You don't know what you're buying. The Gold and Diamond Source has been in business for over 40 years. Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors in our community. You know it's real. It's the only place to shop. And if you're planning to purchase for the holidays, don't forget to take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. You can reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. As always, we offer up to 5 years interest-free financing for just $84 a month when you finance $5,000. It's the only place to shop for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source. 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES, lawgroup.com. Contact them through the website if you get involved in an accident. You want them in your corner. The Jeeves Law Group, they are local, they are trusted, and they get results. JEEVES, lawgroup.com. All All right, let's welcome in my former colleague and one of the greatest analysts in the game, at least in my mind, Dave Archer, joining me here. He's played in the NFL, and he's been covering it for the Falcons for a long, long time. Happy holidays to you, my friend. Boy, what a gift you got last night. I know the Falcons lost, but that's one hell of a football game you called last night. How are you?
I'm good, JP. Good to be on with you, my friend. Yeah, happy holidays. Happy New Year to you and your listeners. Yeah, incredible football game. My voice is still hurting a little bit from it. The cold air blowing into the booth. But, Wes and I do it. We got the booth wide open, little wind, little rain. But it was a phenomenal game. It felt like a playoff game. It was as good an atmosphere as I've seen at a Washington game in quite a long time. I had a chance to play up there early in my career, and they had it going on for a while. But they've got a little something going on now with Coach Quinn and their young quarterback, and that was a heck of a battle. I talked to Quinn after the game, and he said that was one hell of a hard battle, and that's about as good a way as you could state it.
Man, there were so many storylines going back and forth. Dan Quinn, former Falcons coach, who obviously you guys know well. Raheem Morris in his first year trying to get the Falcons to the playoffs. Michael Penix, a Tampa native, throwing to Ray McLeod, another Tampa kid, about to knock the Bucs out of the playoffs. And Mike, and we can start there, right there with Michael Penix, Dave. You've seen him in practice. You've seen him in a couple games. Last night, a 4th and 11 conversion. What a throw. A 4th and 13 to Kyle Pitts in the end zone. Unbelievable. What did you see from that kid last night?
Well, he's kind of displayed it since he's been here, JP. He's got a tremendous amount of poise. He's 24 years old. He played 48 college or 49 college football games. So he's got a lot of experience, not necessarily at the NFL level, but in games. And he's played in some big games, none bigger than the national championship game a year ago. But he just has there's a calmness about him, a poise about him. There's an expectation that he's going to succeed about him, and he can throw it. I mean, he was considered the best pocket passer coming out in the draft. I think in his first couple of games in the league, he's potentially proven that that's who he is. Now he's got some things to work on. There's no question. He missed some shots that could have won the game for the Falcons last night. We had a couple of plays that Zach Robinson had called where we got a couple of guys clean behind coverage. And just because he hasn't played very much, the touch wasn't there on some of the throws. He needed to throw a little bit more air of the ball. But when he shoots the ball down the field, he throws it with conviction. He throws it with a great deal of anticipation. He threw a number of passes last night. He had 2 4th down conversions in the drive you're talking about. Of course, the Pitts throw that tied the game, but he threw one to Drake London on the sideline on about 4th and 11, and he throws the ball easily a couple of seconds before London gets out of the break. And now most people think, well, that's what quarterbacks are supposed to do. Well, as a rookie quarterback with a game on the line in the fourth quarter like that, I mean, you might hesitate to count before you get it out just to confirm that's where you want to throw it, not him. He was cutting it loose, and yeah, he's a really impressive guy, and I think the sky's the limit for what he can potentially be.
Dave Archer joining us here from Falcons Radio. How crushing of a loss was that for the Falcons? What was the mood like after the game? And I think you still got a chance to get in, maybe, obviously, if the Bucs lose next week and you win. So it's not like the season's over. But what was it like after the game? And obviously, Raheem has been criticized for the way he handled the clock. That probably wasn't the best use of the timeouts. What happened there?
Yeah, the guys were devastated. This was the biggest game Atlanta had played in, probably, JP, since the 2017 playoff game against the Eagles, where the Eagles beat them in Philadelphia and they went on to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. That was a year after Atlanta had gone to the Super Bowl and lost. So this was the biggest game they'd played in since then. Everything was on the line. You feel like you had a decent chance to beat Carolina next weekend. Nothing's a given, but certainly if you win this football game, we knew it was going to be tough on the road. This is a playoff team. They've been playing well. They just beaten the Eagles, so everything was on the line, and it felt like a playoff game. So when the guys were done, they were spent. They left it all on the field, and they were devastated. I talked to a number of players that were really down. It's going to be a real chore, I would think, for Raheem and all the guys to reboot and get themselves back up for this next game, and which they will. as far as the management at the end of the game, I was saying during the broadcast that, there's some moments, and you can second guess everything, as you know.
Right.
In this business, that's what we do. But certainly you'd like when you get late in the football game like that, downs don't count as much as time does.
Right.
And so that's why you see guys rush the line and kill the clock. They're going to give away a down to save the time. And in my years of playing ball and as a quarterback, I was taught through a lot of coaching and there was the variances with it, but I was taught that, you get in that 30, 40 second range and you complete a ball inbounds and you got multiple timeouts left. You burn the timeout. You got to take a timeout to conserve the time. Cause like I said, it gets back to where the time means more than the downs do. Raheem felt like they were going to operate faster. Again, you got a rookie quarterback in there. The sense of urgency wasn't quite what it needed to be to get to the line of scrimmage. I think you lost about 16 seconds, 17 seconds, which is, if you go back and you look at it, when you complete a ball down the field, it takes about 12 seconds to get lined up and spike the ball anyway.
Right.
So it's not like you're going to save a ton of time there by rushing the line. But yeah, it wasn't the best and wasn't the cleanest operation. Got fortunate you got the penalty there on Washington. It gave you a chance for the long field goal. But yeah, it wasn't our best moment right there from an operation standpoint.
Dave Archer joining us here from Falcons Radio. And it just seems like both the Bucs and the Falcons are probably, there's a bunch of moments that they'd rather have back this year. I think both of them are probably worthy playoff teams, but where are the Falcons right now in terms of, obviously they found their quarterback of the future. I'm guessing Kirk will probably get released. Where are the Falcons right now? Obviously the season is still here to be had, but just from a thought process moving forward.
Well, I think that if you break it down, JP, and you look at the offensive side of the football, you like what you see. I think it's a good offensive line. It's not a great one, but it's a good offensive line. Obviously, they can come off the ball and run block. You got outside the perimeter guys. Drake London's a big-time player. Went over 1,000 yards last night for the first time in his career, 90 receptions now. He continues to get better and better. I thought Darnell Mooney was a diamond in the rough. He was a guy that had a really good season in Chicago and in 21 and then kind of got left in the mix of some of the other receivers that were coming into Chicago and their transitions at quarterback with Justin Fields and all that. He came down here and he was everything they'd hoped for. He was a speed guy that could create. He ran incredible routes. They've got him signed for another couple of years. He's within probably a completion, one catch next weekend of breaking 1,000 yards himself. So they'll have 2,000-yard receivers. And there's no question, Bijan Robinson, in my opinion, is one of the 3 or 4 best backs in the National Football League. The dude can do it all, and he's over 1,200 yards rushing and 12 rushing touchdowns, and he's a guy that they keep him healthy. Phenomenal player. Now the perimeter stuff is, can you keep Tyler Algier here? He wants his carries. He's a big time back. The kid out of BYU that had 1,000 yards 3 seasons ago in his rookie year. Kyle Pitts is the enigma. What do you do there? I mean, we didn't see anything like that from Kyle this season. The play he makes at the end of the game, and you always think, wait, that's the guy we saw as a rookie that went for over 1,000 yards. But it's been hit or miss for him, so it'll be interesting to see what they do there. Defensively, all of a sudden, they've got 5 consecutive games where they got 3 or more sacks. I mean, nobody else in the league has done. Yeah, nobody else. They had 5 more sacks last night. That was a team that had 9 sacks through, I think, 12 games or something like that. Now all of a sudden they have 30 sacks or something like that. It's been incredible. But so Matthew Judon is a guy. Do you re-sign him? He was a guy that was kind of hit or miss. He was active last night. The linebacker core probably needs to be addressed. I don't think they have enough speed at linebacker. Caden Ellis is a stud. He's a Pro Bowl player in my opinion. But I don't know if they run well enough there and they can't keep Troy Anderson healthy. The secondary's solid. And they'll probably look at maybe adding a guy up front that maybe can be that edge rusher. Arnold Ebiketie has come on. He's got 6 sacks now. I think he's got 5 sacks in his last 5 games. So he's a guy that seems to be starting to get it. He's in his 3rd year out of Penn State. So they've got some pieces, and I think they feel good about that. I think there's a few additions here and there, but it's not a rebuild. It's not, what are you going to do? Now, what happens with the salary cap and the Kirk Cousins thing, I have no idea, JP. You're going to have fun waxing poetic during the off season about that one.
Huge shit. 60 million, I think it's going to be. So, yeah. Well, we had to eat some Brady money at 32 million, but you got to go. It's tough. But you got to draft well, and that's what Jason Light said. He said, "Listen, guys." He went to his staff and said, "Listen, we're in a hole. We're in a big, deep hole. We got to do 2 drafts in a row, and every one of those players in the last 2 drafts, except for one, I think, is making a meaningful contribution to this team, which is incredible." So you talk about 2 drafts in a row, hitting on everybody. There's a 7th round tight end yesterday. Devin Culp had 3 catches for 52 yards and looked like a stud. So I'm sure you watched a little bit of the Bucs game with the Panthers yesterday. What are your thoughts on Baker and the season he's having?
Yeah, I'm just so impressed with Baker Mayfield and what he's reinvented himself. Just incredible. And give Tampa credit for realizing, hey, this is a guy that has the skill set, had a monster rookie year, and has been kind of mired in the muck a little bit of the National Football League, trying to find the right home. He's in the right place now. There's no question about it. He has a nice blend with his teammate. I think his teammates love him.
Yes.
But I just impressed with he is so gritty and determined to win. Whether he's not a great runner, but he'll take it down, he'll break your back, whether he'll go run for a first down, or he gets bent over backwards and looks like he snapped his leg on a sack, and the next thing you know, he's in there, grinding, trying to work you down the field, get you in position to win a football game. So he's the gritty and playmaking type guy you want at quarterback, and I'm really impressed with Bucky Irving. I think that he is a dynamic guy that, should they be able to keep him healthy, and they're going to need to continue to rotate, not overwork him. But I think he's got the chance to be, kind of a Warwick Dunn type of player. I think that he's one of those kind of guys that can catch the ball and run it, and he has an understanding of not to take those big shots. He just really, really impressive there. On the defensive side of the football, I love what Todd continues to try to do. He really mind boggles you a little bit with what they're trying to do up front. Now, we were able to solve some of that in the Falcon-Tampa games, but you can see where it really confuses guys, and he's going to need to add a few pieces on that side of the ball, to help them a little bit more, get that pass rush cranked back up, be a little bit stiffer against the run. But there's nobody that's more formidable than Vita Vea in the middle. You got to make sure you keep that guy. I mean, guy's a monster. So I think Tampa's got a real chance. I don't know that's one of those teams. I know we throw these kind of ideas around. That's a team you wouldn't want to face in the playoffs. I think Tampa would be one of those teams because I think they are red hot. Now, I know they stumbled here last weekend 2 weekends ago against Dallas, but I just think they're a team that could really surprise. Even these teams that are, I think Detroit's struggling they're kind of limping into the playoffs defensively. They've got a good offense, but I think Tampa can go offense with them. It'd be interesting to see what Philly does with their quarterback situation. Hopefully Jalen can get back, but I think Tampa's as good as anybody in the National Football Conference.
Dave Archer joining us here, Atlanta Falcons radio analyst. So the Falcons win next week and the Bucs win. Obviously the Bucs win the division. Do the Falcons have any other road to the playoffs, or are they out if the Bucs win next week?
Yeah, you got to win. You got to win the division. We kind of played ourselves into that position. We were 6-3 at one point and had 2 games in the pocket against Tampa, and just kind of bled that away. We lost 4 straight, and we're our own worst enemy. We blame ourselves for our situation, and give Tampa credit.
Yeah,
they dug themselves a hole, and Baker was gritty enough to get his team rallied around, and they went on this streak, and they deserve to win it.
Man, what a game last night you called, and I think you got your quarterback of the future, and that's the good thing. So it's going to be a hell of a battle, I think, the next few years between the Falcons and the Bucs. Hey, before I let you go, I know you cover so much college football as well. To see a quarterback in Cam Ward sitting on the sideline when his team needs him most. We talked about this on the show. I'd just like to get your thoughts real quick. And I don't want to put it all on the players because the adults have screwed this whole thing up. But, I mean, where are you at right now with college football?
Well, we've screwed it up, JP. I mean, the whole to try to get into the transfer portal and to get into NIL with no rules in place whatsoever, kind of some guidelines as opposed to rules. That's sorry, that's put us in a bad spot. And I'm not sure everybody keeps using these different analogies, trying to reel it back in. You're not going to be able to, but as far as the player goes and playing in the game, I mean, obviously there's a good chance he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
And you understand, I was really impressed that he played in the game, and that's he playing against my alma mater, against Iowa State. And he played his rear end off in the first half. But I certainly understand guys not wanting to. We've seen guys get hurt, right? And we've seen big-time players go down in games that affect their career down the road. And he's making more money at Miami than I think I made in the National Football League when I played.
That's true.
But it's hard to get your head around as a fan because the love of the game. Well, the fans are fanatics for a reason. They love the game, and when they see guys that are sitting out, they say, "Well, why doesn't he love the game?" He loves the game, but he loves the game to the point where he's going to probably do it for a living, so he's got to protect his wherewithal. So I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Hey, thanks for getting up this morning. I know it was a late flight and your voice and all that, so we really appreciate you jumping on. Great information as always. Happy New Year to you.
Good talk to you.
Pass it on to everybody. Thanks.
Good talking. You enjoy that good weather down there in Tampa.
We will. Come play some golf with me, partner. Come on down.
All right, brother.
All right.
Take care, man.
Great, Dave Archer right there. I always love his perspective. He's such a good analyst and really sees the game in such a different way. It's why I didn't want to get his take on Baker. And I think he gave a really good wrap up on both these teams. And Falcons aren't going anywhere. They're getting better. It's going to be a battle, Baker versus Penix.
They have the same battle the Bucs sort of had was, you got to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that everybody has the term falconing, can you just stop falconing? And for a while, I don't know if the Bucs had a term for it necessarily.
The yucks.
They were yucking around. They were yucking around. There you go. They had to get over that hurdle. Now, when you bring in, number 12, I mean, there's no other option. Like, you have to get over it.
Yeah.
But even without him, like, they've been able, like, certain times they revert into it a little bit. But for the most part, they've gotten over that hurdle. I don't think the Falcons just have. I don't think they have yet. Like, last night's the same thing. Like, comes down to a field goal kick, and it probably shouldn't have come down to a 56-yard field goal kick.
I just listen, I'm not on the sideline, and I'm not on headsets. And we're sitting in our, cozy rooms with our feet up, watching a game and watching the clock tick down and looking on the screen and seeing 2 timeouts there. And you just completed a ball and it's so obvious. You've got to run 25 yards and get everybody lined up. There's 40 seconds left in the game. You got 2 timeouts. Call a timeout.
Why does it feel like it's
so easy? It's obvious. And I'm just sitting there looking at Raheem. He's got his arms crossed and tick, 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 tick. They're running up. I'm like, you got 2. You don't have 1. You have 2.
And why is it always the defensive coaches? And you know what the thing is, JP? You know the 3 defensive coaches that I see have this issue the most?
Todd Bowles.
Now I have to add Raheem Morris to the list. And Mike Tomlin. Even Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
Mike Tomlin is terrible in clock management. Why is it always the defensive head coaches that have these issues?
I don't know. Well, because they're defensive head coaches, they don't understand what it takes to get lined up, and I don't get it. They're all really smart people, and they know more about football than any of us.
It almost feels like in those situations
you're overthinking it.
Yeah, you're overthinking it, but it's almost like if the offense is on the field, it's like I'm almost comfortable. Like the offensive play caller has autonomy over everything.
You call the timeouts, yeah.
Like at that point, it's like seriously, like why don't we just have the offensive play callers make those decisions?
Give me a timeout. Yeah.
Why is it got to be the head coach in that point?
Yeah,
head coach is off hands of everything else offense, but then when it comes to making the timeout in those situations, and the offensive play caller, he wants to be in a rhythm with certain things, and obviously all those things. It's like, to me, just have the offensive play caller handle it at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mystery to me. Should we finish up? What did we not? Oh, we didn't talk about the Bolts. So Saturday night Rangers game. The Bolts get outshot. I think it was 42-20. They were outshot significantly.
Correct.
And the Rangers, I thought, for the most part, had a lot of possession time in the zone. The Bolts got out to an early lead, and they score on 5 goals on 13 shots. and they chase Shesterkin from the game. And part of this is the Lightning just being so skilled. I mean, the first one power play goal, here's Braden Point coming at speed, saucering a pass over to Kucherov, who takes it off the short hop and knocks it in. I mean, just ridiculous amount. McDonough gets a shorty with a great shot of his own. Trying to remember the other goals. It was a lot of skill.
Yeah, McDonough had one.
Yeah, and Cirelli had a shorty. He had his hand in both the shorties, an assist and a goal. So 2 shorties, 2 power play goals. The power play has been fantastic. But you didn't. It wasn't a game that Cooper was really super excited about. It was some puck management issues.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, but you win 6-2 and you take your 2 points, and that's great. And then the Rangers are a mess.
Well,
for whatever reason.
The Rangers have lost 14 of the last 18 games.
Yeah, they're a mess.
Something like that.
Yeah, I was talking to some of their people, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, made the trade. It's not working. They're just making mistakes, key mistakes.
And that's what it was. Like, the Lightning made some puck management errors, but the Rangers made these mistakes that were they were on a different level, and the Lightning just have some really world talented player. I mean, Kucherov and Point. I mean, I just don't. I don't claim to watch, the league every single night, especially during this time of the year when there's a lot going on. And I know there's some great duos, the McDavid Draisaitl's of the world. You come to mind, McKinnon, Rantanen, Nikita Kucherov, and Point. Those are probably the 3.
Yeah,
for being honest with you. And those, I don't know which one you pick. I wouldn't trade this one. I'll tell you that one for any of them. I mean, they're just on a different planet right now. I think Braden Point's now at the league leading goals, and he's missed like 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
Nikita Kucherov's probably going to be right there in the Hart nominations again.
They've got 3 players in the top 15 in goals scored, and Gensel has just been unbelievable. And look at how he looked last night without him.
Exactly. Oof. But I was going to say, it's like, so as much as we know this team runs on Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point, I feel like watching the Ranger game, maybe not the most important player, but Anthony Cirelli, I like to bring him up because I don't know if we talk about him enough.
Cirelli and Hagel.
Yeah, Cirelli and Hagel have their own sort of chemistry going on, but Cirelli in particular, I feel like we've always known he's a great player. He does all these things really well, but we were never convinced, at least I wasn't, is he really going to be your second line center? Can he be that guy? Because what is his highest output of scoring was like 19 goals or something. Yeah. Well, here we sit going into January. He's got 15 goals. I mean, he's on pace to maybe push for 30 if he can get there. I wasn't even asking for that, but
he could get to 40.
He's filled the second line center role beautifully.
And he's playing with confidence offensively. Yeah. And he's shooting the puck now, and he's become a very gifted scorer.
Oh, the goal the other night, the goal scorer's goal.
Yeah. And he's doing that a lot now. So, and I think the fact that, and we talked about this with Engblom on the post-game show, and he agreed with me. I said, like going into the season, I don't think anybody had Hagel and Cirelli on the 4 Nations for Canada. I don't think, but you couldn't keep him off, especially with Brisebois and Cooper as part of the management team. They know that those guys, while every other team is going to fill their team with the highest scoring players, they put a duo on there, and you can go make arguments that there's other higher scoring players. But in terms of winning hockey games, those 2 guys are going to make Canada.
You're building a team.
You're building a team.
And that's right. The thing. But that's the thing. The Americans.
But the confidence that they got, both of them, for being like, they're going to play for Team Canada. I don't think either one of those guys were ever considered as that level. No.
But
now they are, and they should be. They should be.
They're like, they're pest.
Yeah.
They're pest. Like, remember, like, in the Lightning have had many, like, Yanni Gord was the pest of them all, right? And I feel like Hagel and Cirelli have that to them, and obviously the offensive part of it. So, yeah, no-brainer for Canada. That's going to be a fun tournament. But to your point, the Lightning, I didn't think they played it well. And, I mean, they won 6-2, and I'm like, they didn't really play that well.
Vassy played well.
Vassy played
42 saves.
Outstanding, and then the Lightning were kind of a moments sort of team that night. But, I mean, if there's one thing I know, the Lightning can score. They can score with anybody in this league. Only 2 teams, again, as we sit here today, Winnipeg and Washington, have a higher goal differential than the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And they've scored the most goals, and in December they held teams to less than 2 and were over 4.5 per game. They got 8-3 in December. Were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they finally found a run to go on too, winning 8 of 10, I believe it was, before last night, which I kind of expected last night.
First and foremost, let's tip of the cap to Marty St. Louis, and the Canadians are playing. They look like a bunch of Martys out there. A bunch of
they're playing free
underdogs.
Like they score a lot, and they usually give up a lot too.
They play hard though.
Yeah.
They play hard. They were on their ass last night nonstop. I mean, I could just hear Marty in the pregame speech going, "All right, here come the Lightning. They got all these big name stars, and we're nobodies." But they've won 5 of 6 now, and on Saturday and Sunday they shut out the defending champion Panthers 4-0, and then beat the Lightning 5-2.
Yeah,
so
that's
a pretty good weekend for Montreal,
especially around the holidays too, where you travel all the way down. Usually,
there were a lot of Canadian
like
fans.
That.
Yeah, a lot of Canadian fans there last night. So that's a game where you just the Lightning throw those turds in there every now and then. They just do. No energy, and part of it was the fact that Gensel wasn't there, and the other part was early on. Cooch got frustrated. And when Cooch gets frustrated, sometimes
he shuts down or he just starts.
He's such a magical player. And when he's playing, to me, he's the best playmaker in the game. And I could argue the best, most valuable player in the game because every time he's on the ice, it seems they're going to get something. Most times they're going to get a scoring chance or he's going to try to make a pass that gets intercepted, luckily, by the defense, that if it gets through, it's a goal. Like something is going to he's that good a player. He's at the top of his game now. And when he's not, he's not. And when he gets a little frustrated and starts chirping, he gets, the Russians are notoriously moody.
Right.
They're notoriously moody. And he's such a great player. When he even shuts down a little bit, it's not good.
It's so funny, though.
I think he had one shot last night, and that was the one that he scored on.
Yeah, the goal he scored, but nobody knew where it was.
Yeah.
And he had a big smile after that, too, and I thought that might have gotten him going.
Yeah,
But, they, like you said, they throw like these games in there where they're just flat. It's going to happen over a course of an 82-game season. I still generally like where they're at right now.
Oh, God, yes.
They've been able to
nitpicking.
Like I said, an 8-10 run, that's kind of what we were just waiting for them to do, is go on one of these runs where you can solidify yourself, where you're not like sort of dangling around the wild card teams. They have like 4 games in hand on everybody else in the division.
Oh, they had, going into the game last night, they had the highest winning percentage in the Atlantic, even though they were 4th.
Right.
They had the highest points percentage. So now I think they're 2nd. So they're playing great hockey as a whole. And you're going to have these you play 82. You're going to have these during the holidays, back to back. I mean, it's probably everybody's got family at their house. They're all sleeping, waking them up at all hours of there's probably a lot of that shenanigans going on. So it might be a good time to get out on the road. So now they go out west for 3 and they'll take on San Jose, a team, the bottom dweller.
Terrible.
10:30 Thursday night. You got to get the 2 there. Then they go down to play the Kings, who are 2nd in the Pacific and really playing good hockey. That's going to be a tough game. And then you got back-to-back. You got to go play Anaheim, who's 7th in the Pacific, but you're playing a back-to-back, so they might sneak up on you. I don't know if Anaheim's got a back-to-back. So they've got, I think, 16 games in January because they were rescheduled the one from the Hurricane.
They've played the least amount of games of any team in the league. Right
so
now.
they have 16 games in January and 4 back-to-backs.
Oof.
So,
yeah.
Yikes. So it's a big, but you know what? They're playing good hockey. Gensel's not a long-term injury, so we're hoping he was supposed to play yesterday.
Yeah, and they dodged a bullet with Geeky from earlier in the week.
Yes, I thought that was going to be bad.
Yeah, Moser, unfortunately, 12 weeks it looks like?
Yeah, you won't be back till late Feb.
I smell an LTIR.
Good. Yeah. Good. But you want him back for the playoffs because he plays really well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You look at the Lightning's defensive depth now has been, it's just, once again, it's tested. And you have the top 3 guys, and then you're sort of looking around, and it's like, all right, piece it together again.
But I think, if you could have asked Cooper with all the changes that they made and you looked into the crystal ball and see where they're at right now, he'd be ecstatic before the season.
They're miles ahead of where they were last year.
Yeah. I mean, 5-on-5. Holy heck. I mean, Stammer, we love you. But the Gensel for Stammer.
Stammer, I love you, and I'm sorry that you're suffering in Nashville right now.
It's we feel for you.
We feel for you.
But Julian, I know it wasn't easy. Jason Light had a great offseason.
Let the lesson be known.
So did JBB.
Those who leave the Tampa Bay Lightning, you might want to think again. I'm looking at you, Stammer didn't really have a choice, but I'm mostly pointing to Stevie. Mostly pointing to Stevie Y, Mr. Lalonde, who
he was
probably
sacked.
Probably not welcome back in Tampa Bay either, given how that ended. But let the lesson be known.
You don't see a lot of people going to other places having a lot of success. Well, that's not true. Marcia So,
Palat and Killorn are just. I mean, I know Palat's on a good team, but he hasn't really been healthy or not playing his way. Killorn's just whittling away in Anaheim.
Yeah, waiting to get back to Tampa.
Yanni, same thing in Seattle.
Yep. He's on the chop. He's on the trade block.
I have heard. I mean, we're in the getting the band back together season. I mean, by all means.
Yeah. Pick up a little bit of that. I think he's making 5-1.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think we could use him on the fourth line. Woo. JBB. He'll figure it out. He'll figure it out.
The Lightning will not be the same. The roster right now, I promise you, will not be the same roster you see sometime in February.
This is, I hate to even bring this up, but if two players came available and you could, their team would eat some of their salary, who would you want back, Yanni or Stammer?
Yanni.
Yeah.
And I'd have to go back and look. I don't know if because Yanni's 32 at this point. He's not a spring chicken.
32, yeah.
He's not a spring chicken. He played a game that usually would not translate when you get older. I don't even really know what Yanni, if he's playing still solidly well in over there in whatever you call it, Seattle.
I think we're doing the same thing here. Where's he at?
I mean, offensively, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points. But we always knew that for Yanni, it was about the other things.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still doing those things, is what I'm saying. So I'd have to look into it more. Yanni's also 33 now.
33? Wow, okay.
He kind of snuck up on us with age there.
Yeah, everybody's got him going to the Maple Leafs. He's got a no trade. Would waive it for the Maple Leafs, and I'm sure the Lightning as well.
Right.
So, well,
we'll see.
I tell you this, though. I trust JBB.
Correct.
Whatever he's gonna do, I ain't second guessing him. Y'all can have at it. And I didn't when he made these offseason moves. I said, "Wow, you got JJ Moser, who's a better defenseman than Sergachev, and you added a kid that could be a future superstar." And I don't think anybody's upset at the way Connor Geeky's been playing. He looks.
I think it's better than what the numbers are going to tell you.
Oh God, yes. God, yes. The coaches are extremely pleased.
If he was playing with, some of the other top guys, it'd be different too.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is good. All right. Good show, my friend. Thank you very much. Sorry we didn't get to we talk so much we don't get to the audio. I apologize, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for jumping in the comments section as well. You were awesome. Appreciate you guys. We will be back tomorrow. I'm efforting doing tomorrow's show from the ReliaQuest Bowl, Alabama and Michigan, down on the sidelines.
Forgot now. No longer at January 1st.
No. So, because it's always fun down at pregame. So we'll see. We'll have something special for you tomorrow. Don't worry about that. We will have a show. So we will be back tomorrow to get you ready for Alabama and Michigan, and still, of course, talking about this big win. The Bucs are back in the driver's seat. All they got to do is win next week, and they are into the playoffs, and they are going to smash the Saints. We're not even entertaining anything else. Have a great day, everybody. Hope you have a ducky day.